stop what I'm doing.
To make sure to make sure to repeat the question.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool.
Okay.
That's cool enough.
All right, it should come on. You make sure it comes on, and then I'm so excited.
You what?
Like,
I know. I looked right at it too, and I was like, what? No. Seriously. See, I would never know. Good old VGA. Oh, yeah, so, okay. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now you have your keys. You get Christina back hers. Exciting. Yeah, it's probably so yeah, we actually have it on right after.
Hey guys, I actually set up my time for them to up today. 4, and I didn't know this was today, so today.
Okay, and I'll have the presentation too where you can do it.
Yeah.
On our website, so leave whenever you have to. We probably won't go the whole time till 5. We'll be done before then. Did everyone sign in? We'll probably get started a little bit after 3:30. Get some more people in a few minutes, and then I'll get started. Yeah. Let's get started in a couple minutes and give it till 3:35. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second year pre-health workshop. How's everyone doing today? All right, welcome. Thank you for coming today. My name is Anthony Iannelli Jr. I'm a health professions advisor here at USF, and I'm going to go over this presentation with you. All right, so for today, we're going to go over the second year status. So this is the second year workshop, so we're going to go over a lot of what you should be looking to do as you approach your second year. As we were mentioning to one of you earlier, second year doesn't necessarily mean the year that you're here at USF. It means maybe the second year of your pre-health profile where you're building your competitiveness for a health professional school. So that could be a second year sophomore or a transfer student who still has a couple more years till they apply. So that's just what that means. We'll go overview of application factors, a self-assessment, which we also do have online for those watching online, an ideal pre-health timeline, and then a pre-health timeline versus graduation timeline. So now that it's your second year of building your profile, we hope that you're doing some or have already done all of the following. So meeting with a pre-health advisor to really learn about how you can build a competitive profile, participating in community service in a non-medical setting, and working and volunteering in a medical setting. So it's good to have a variety of both, not just all medical experiences. Reading interesting books, articles about your intended profession, so you're getting to know the profession and what's going on in the profession currently. Reading daily newspapers, weekly magazines about current events, staying involved with student organizations and leadership opportunities. So if you are involved in an organization, what more are you doing than just being a participant? So looking at that, considering research if you have not already and if it interests you. The big thing with research is it can be in any area. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the science area. Any kind of research experience is good experience. Taking 8 to 11 credits of science coursework a semester. So typically you're going to take a full semester between 14, 16 credits. You want half of that to be the core classes that you're taking, math or sciences, mainly your prereqs for your intended programs. You want to maintain an excellent grade point average, as we'll go over in the presentation. the averages are increasing for the different health professional programs. So it's important that you know what's competitive and what you need to strive for these programs you're interested in. Start looking at individual school requirements. There are some differences between schools, so it's important to start researching that now and begin coming up with a plan for preparing for your admissions test. So if it's the MCAT, DAT, PCAT, OAT, or GRE preparation. So any of those you want to start preparing for, because when you do apply, you want to have that exam completed as well around the time you're applying. So that's why it's important to start preparing for that. So all of you should have grabbed this. This is more for you, the second year self-assessment, to kind of see where you're at right now and what areas of your application you need to continue to improve. There is a front and back to this, so go over how many credits you have, your GPA, your science GPA, the average GPA needed for your program of interest, entrance exam, average exam scores, so you know what to strive for that. When you're going to begin studying, when you're planning to graduate. So it's very important that you're meeting with both your academic advisor and your health professions advisor. Academic to see when you graduate, and health professions to help you getting into your health professional school of your choice. And then when are you going to have a competitive application by? That's very important, because for those of you that know you might be applying this coming summer, you want to make sure to get as many of your experiences in by that time as possible, because anything you do after that, your health professional school is not going to necessarily see that, unless if it's something you're continuing that you started before the summer. So you want to have that summer in mind, so you know when you want to have your prerequisites done, your experiences, and all of that good information that's needed for a successful application. And then on the back page, give you some information about some of your experiences, healthcare, non-healthcare, so you can start considering what to put here. For a lot of the applications, you could put anywhere from 10 to 15 experiences, healthcare, non-healthcare. So this is just for you to start jotting down what you've done already. All right, application factors. So the three main things that you need to get into any health professional program: a good GPA, the prerequisites, and an entrance exam score. That's something that everyone needs. So it's important to have those to be competitive, so you know that you do stand a chance in applying to the school that you're interested in. But in addition to that, you want to bring more to your application. You don't want to just have what you need. It is important to have the GPA, the prereqs, and the exam score. What more can you bring to your application? That's really what you want to consider, because a lot of people applying are going to have the first three things that we see here under application factors. But what more can you bring to the table? So some quality healthcare experiences, valuable non-healthcare experiences, personal statement, letters of recommendation, good interview skills. You want to think, how can I stand out compared to the other applicants? Is that an education abroad experience? Is that an experience that you've had with a patient in a healthcare setting, something from your background? You want to start thinking beyond just what these factors are and say, how can I build a competitive application that's unique compared to the other applicants? And as we mentioned before, strong science semester, 14 to 16 credits overall with 8 to 11 of math and science. So here are those GPAs that I was talking about. We do this presentation every year, and every year we do this presentation, we have to add a little bit to the GPA each year, because it is getting more and more competitive to get into these programs. So going down the list, as you can see, for the MD, medical school, 3.7, DO, 3.52, dentistry, 3.55, optometry, 3.43, pharmacy, 3.57, same with physical therapy, physician assistant, 3.53, podiatry, 3.5, and vet school, 3.56. So that tells you it right there when it comes to the GPA. It's getting higher and higher. So if you're not applying for another 2-3 years, there's a good chance that these national averages will increase. So it's very important to do the best you can in your classes because it's one of the first things that's looked at on your application. All right, so will you do it? So we have some information here about just different experiences and then academic metrics. So in medical schools or any other health professional schools are looking at your application. I mean, they're looking at a lot of these metrics and experiences. So they're looking at your overall GPA and your science GPA, MCAT, your grade trends. So I always meet with students sometimes that maybe don't start off as well and then continue to do a little better a little later. So that's something they look at. And then performances if you are deciding to go through with the second degree, and then where you apply, and then all of the experiences that you see here. Shadowing, show of hands, has anyone started shadowing already? So we got a few of you. So that's something that you really want to get started with. For those of you that are still looking to shadow, the best way to look for those experiences first is to try to use any connections that you have, any friends, family, friends in the field, your own physician or dentist. Start there. If that doesn't work, then what I recommend doing is to start volunteering, make those connections through volunteering, and start shadowing. In the USF area alone, there's so many hospitals that you can go into to get some good healthcare experience. So with shadowing, for example, with PA school, you need direct patient care hours. So you have to be directly working with a patient, touching the patient. So that's more of your hands-on. With shadowing, you're observing what's going on and really getting to learn more about the physician-patient interaction. So let's see. As you can see, some advantages: clinical exposure, building relationships, and then just seeing the day-to-day activity. So shadowing is very important, and that shows the committees that you have a good understanding of what you want to get into in the future. So you have volunteering. So you're doing some hands-on activities in the setting, opportunity to network and try to get those shadowing experiences. And it shows to the committees that you want to help people. That's always a reason why a lot of people say they do want to go into the healthcare field, because they want to help people. So this is a way to definitely prove that you like to help people in a healthcare or non-healthcare related setting. All right, so a couple of different ways on our website. We also have more resources, but we always put first, use your resources, use your connections. Student organizations, there's some organizations on campus where you can volunteer and shadow. Reach out and read program. And then if none of that works for you, the old school way is to cold call. So to research and call hospitals, private practices. On average, it takes students about 20 to 40 calls to really find someone to shadow or volunteer with. So keep that in mind if you end up resorting to cold calling. Reference USA, white pages for doctors, so you can get all of the contact information for the doctors in the area. Different summer programs, offices on campus like Center for Leadership and Civic Engagement that have good volunteer opportunities for students. And then our website, the link that you see here, that'll take you right to our volunteering page with some other resources. All right, summer programs, most are free. There's summer programs all across the US and abroad that you can participate in. Some good experiences to get some good hands-on medical experiences in different areas. So very important to look into some of those as well. Also with research. And then there's also programs for minority and disadvantaged students as well. So on this link right here, you'll have more information about those summer programs that you can get involved in. And as we hear more about them, we post more on our website. So tracking your experiences. What you want to do each time you have an experience is journal it. You want to write it down, How many hours? Who did you work with? What did you learn? You want to keep track of that. And the reason you want to keep track of that is because when you apply, you're going to put this information onto your application. So it's important to keep track of that. And also when you write your personal statement, you might want to go back to one of these experiences that you had. So it's important to journal those experiences. And then you could keep your own e-portfolio as well. All right, so we do on our website and on this slide right here have the ideal 4-year pre-health timeline. So year 2 of competitiveness, the question we get all the time is, when do I apply? The traditional time would be your 3rd year, after 3 years of building a competitive application. If you're a 2nd year student and you haven't done any of this yet, and you're starting right here, that means that you want to have 3 years of building a competitive application. So that involves shadowing and volunteering, taking science classes, continuing the shadowing and volunteering, getting your GPA at least above a 3.5 or higher, continuing your experiences. We do recommend studying for your desired exam a year before you're going to take it. So as you can see here, if you're building 3 years of competitiveness, the summer of after your 2nd year, start studying for the MCAT or a health professional exam, and then be prepared to take that the summer you're going to apply. So that's why we always talk about having at least 3 years of competitiveness before you apply, because you need 3 years to really have a good GPA, get all your prerequisites and experiences in, and to study for your exam. And then research as well. Research, leadership. Oh, and another thing, I'm glad I saw this. Letters of recommendation. This is the year, maybe if you went through your 1st year or the beginning and you haven't really talked to your instructors, now is the time to really start talking to your instructors, because a lot of your programs are going to want science faculty letters of recommendation. So that's very important to start thinking about now if you haven't really talked to your instructor. Go to office hours, get to know them, but most importantly, do well in their classes, and then continue to talk to them throughout the year. And then once you get your final grade, connect with them after and see if they would be willing to write you a letter. All right, ideal versus reality. So as we mentioned, you should not apply until your application is competitive, and that's where we can help you with seeing if your application is competitive and looking at all those different factors that we looked at before. If you wanted to go straight into a health professional school after you graduate, that means your application has to be competitive that summer before you would graduate. The programs it takes about a year for your application to go through. So for example, let's use the summer that just passed. If you applied this summer 2016, that means you're hoping to start your program fall 2017. So it's about a little over a year from when you even apply. So what that means, like I've said before, summer 2016, your application needs to be ready, competitive, GPA-wise, experiences, exam score, and all that. So yeah, they won't see any information after you click submit, and you're unable to update your application once you click submit. So that's very important. Also utilize our office for application reviews, because we'll do that with you as well. All right, competitive applicants apply early. Many interview spots will be gone by the end of summer. These schools go through rolling admissions, so that's why you want to know this summer you're going to be ready to apply and you're most competitive, and apply right away, because if you wait till end of fall, early spring, you're applying for a small amount of spots at schools because they've already offered these spots to other students that have applied earlier. All right, pre-health timeline, graduation timeline. So graduate once you meet all your coursework requirements, and apply to a health professions once you've built a competitive application. They're not always the same. It's okay if you have to take a gap year. If that means building a stronger application, it's going to be worth it in the long run. You don't want to rush your application. All right, so I'll leave it open for some questions. If you do have some questions, I'm going to repeat it back so our audience at home can hear the question. What questions do you have just about what you're doing now or what you could be doing, anything like that? All right, let me ask you, when you filled out your assessment, was there anything that you noticed that you're like, wow, I need to do this, or maybe, oh, I'm doing pretty well so far? What did you notice when you filled this out?
I gotta start feeling this though.
Yeah, the experiences. Yeah, so still have some time to get some of those experiences. Anyone like to share what you've done so far with some of your experiences? Yes.
I started volunteering at Florida Hospital last fall. So I'm going to continue that for the next couple years. I have a spot there, so I'm going to keep it. And then I started shadowing a doctor there this
Nice.
past September.
So that example of volunteering, making some connections, and shadowing at Florida Hospital, it's great. Nice. What else? What other experiences have you had, or are you looking to have, or maybe have questions about? Yeah, Corey.
Same kind of thing, so I shadowed a lot of volunteer work in the last year and a half. Shadowing positions. Helping me a lot of positions in different specialties at different hospitals in the area, so it's been really useful to kind of help me also kind of engage in your question what I want to do.
Yeah, brought up a great point. You wanna shadow different specializations. When you apply, let's just say to medical school, it's not important just yet with what specialization you want to get into and you're applying to get in. That's something that you will figure out as you are in medical school. So the fact that you can shadow different specializations in really any of the health professions, medical, PA, dentistry, different types of specializations will really help you see, well, maybe I thought about doing that, but now I kind of, like this side of medicine or any different fields. So that's very important. PA school is the only one that does require a certain amount of patient care hours. Other health professional schools just recommend good experiences. So it's very important to check with the individual schools to see what they want. And it's also important to look at their mission and their values to really see what they are looking for in their students and what they want you to portray. So that's very important as well. Anyone else? Any other experiences or just any questions about what more can you be doing now? All right, so before you go, we have just a whole list of second year recommendations that we have listed. So they do involve, meeting with an advisor, continuing your experiences, attending different workshops, and beginning your preparation for your exams. Does anyone have any questions about preparing for your individual exams? Yes.
If we plan on applying by June 1st or whenever the applications open that year, you said that probably starting to study in the summer would be the best idea. But then again, would Christmas break and then studying that spring be a good idea and taking it March, April, or what exactly would you recommend?
Yeah, no, that's good. We want you to have at least as close to a year to prepare as possible. The question was pretty much when's a good time to start preparing. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself close to a year, but if it's a little less than a year, you want to put in good time to prepare. So a lot of these exams, once you take them, it takes a month to get your score. So that's actually a good example of, starting your studying now or over winter break, and maybe be prepared to take it April, May. So then you have that score right when you're ready to apply in the beginning of June. So that's a good idea. I want to bring up another thing. If it doesn't work like that, let's say you end up being more ready to take your exam in July. So you can still submit everything else in your application, because it usually takes anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks for for your application to just be processed through the application site. So that means while it's getting processed, you still have some time then to take your exam and then include it afterwards. So that's something as well. But that's the most ideal plan, what you said. Studying now and taking it in April or May. You have it ready to go by June. Cool. Any other questions today about what you can be doing? So yeah, we have just some good recommendations. So make sure to stay on track with these. And please reach out to our office, Division of Health Professions, if you have any questions. We have our email listed here, and then our website. Our website has a lot of great resources. We did just update our interviewing section, personal statement reviews, and we're going to be adding some new sections there about financial aid, scholarships for health professional programs. So make sure to stay up to date with that, and let us know if you have any questions. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. I'll be around if anyone has any questions.